The reaches of Foster City were diminishing in the rear-view mirror, the San Mateo Bridge beckoned a farewell, the Willson rental Cavalier crossing to the East Bay turning east on Interstate 580. The start of a familiar journey through the Livermore Valley venturing the wind-swept Altamont Pass, a pilgrimage to the residency of Gary's parents in the tree-shrouded Sierra Nevada mountain town of Pioneer. Traversing through Tracy then north on Highway 99 to Waterloo Road, the given name for a 5-mile section of State Highway 88. Continuing east through the Sierra Foothill Gold Country, passing the village of Martel, beginning a downhill incline towards the town of Jackson, the family viewing the relic fixtures of two once prosperous gold mines still present with their stature and heritage, the Argonaut and the Kennedy. The Argonaut at its 1942 closing having the distinction of being the deepest gold mine in North America, reaching a depth of 5,570 feet, but also having the distinction of losing 47 miners to a fire at the depth of 4,650 feet in 1922. A rescue shaft was provided from the nearby Kennedy mine but to no avail, the miners were lost. Traversing Jackson, the legendary Gold Emporium town on Highway 88, the Sierra Mountain Highway again starting an uphill climb for 16 miles passing through the hamlet of Pine Grove before discovering Pioneer, a way stop from a bygone era, once christened Pioneer Station, a stopping point to change wagon horses for the continuous journey over Kit Carson Pass. The Cavalier continuing a 2-mile venture on a gravel road into the forest-shrouded surroundings, the pastoral cabin and family members waiting for their arrival. The Willsons' sequestered retreat, aptly christened the cabin, in reality was a 2-bedroom 768-square-foot retirement home with a 10 by 32-foot deck. Gary having fond memories of his youthful days, helping his dad clear the land and lay the foundation piers for the structure's construction, and was always mindful of the wilderness, its eminence of discovery and adventure. Gary sensing a wave of nostalgia addressing ambience, seeing his family, it having been several years since his last endeavor to California. Sandy and Robert greeting their cousin Sarah and her husband Randy James, their Aunt Nancy, the three having driven from the Sonora area. The cabin standing structurally strong and stately, no longer an addendum, but a final accomplishment, Gary's mother the architect and his father the laborer and construction initiator, the finished product a result of their collective efforts. The wind in the towering pines giving notice to all that listened, discovering the message, an invitation, a beckoning call from the wilderness. Instinct flourishing, organizing an outing for Robert and Sandy, a journey down the old logging road where as a youth Gary and his sister Nancy discovering a sequestered cache of dynamite, but on this trek to re-explore the abandoned gold mine with the rusted ore car tracks and its natural spring, the spring at one time the family's only source of water. It was no surprise to discover the aqua flow still flowering from the mine's darkened fissure. A further expedition, the three following a well-traveled deer trail in an attempt to discover the remains of the old miner's cabin from Gary's childhood ascendancy, but the recollection of its location was either a miss or the quantum of history having removed its propinquity. A returning venture to Jackson with Grandma Willson along, turning on Highway 49, towards the town of Mokelumne Hill, the family's destination the Mokelumne River in a revered swimming area. Turning east just before the bridge, then proceeding on the narrow access road that paralleled the river, soon reaching a widening area with ample parking among the river-shrouded forage. The river a boyhood memory of Gary's dad, able to swim there as a youth in the 1920s, one of the few times he was able to share companionship with his father. Embarking to the river's edge, finding a large expanse of sand resembling a beach, its granular consistency reaching out into the water. Gary briefly reminiscing, experiencing a similar scene over 3 decades ago with his sisters, recalling their water spaniel Smokey and his father sharing of his youthful experience of this spot. Sandy and Robert were hesitant but motivated to venture into the icy waters of the snow-emboldened flow that emerged from the apogee of the Sierras, the two soon discovering its temporal aperture unsuitable for a sustainable swimming presence. With the Mokelumne River memory installed, the family continuing on to Columbia, preparing for the next event of the Mother Lode Acquaintance. Gary's sister Nancy providing an opportunity to visit Columbia State Park, with its 30 original buildings from the 1850 gold mining town, her residence within walking distance of this awe-inspiring exhibition. The family arriving at the park, experiencing a journey back in time, the post office, bank, the saloon, blacksmith shop, all the conveniences of a bygone era, but in reality, a functioning town within a park, the denizen dressed in character of the historic period. Among the many exhibits, Sandy and Robert discovering the gold panning display the most enjoyable, a unique exhibit with water-filled troughs containing sand embedded with flakes of real gold to be extracted by the celebrated customers, an experience in California Aurelia mineral history. A return to Pioneer, a final evening before the family's departure, Gary anxious in one respect to extend their stay but in another to continue their journey, an aura of melancholy beginning to filter through his inner feeling facade, knowing that his mother would travel east to visit, but having no idea when he would see his father again. The morning was somewhat somber. It's been said goodbyes are not forever, but what made it so hard, it was family, and this had been the pain in Gary's family conversations for almost 30 years.